Folks, at some point in your life, you are going to be faced with a loose towel holder, or possibly a loose toilet paper holder. It doesn't matter which device you're dealing with that's loose, the solutions are almost always the same. So in this video, we're going to take apart the two in my house that are currently loose as good examples of why they're loose and how you can solve the problem. Now first, with virtually every towel holder that exists on the market that I've ever seen in all of my years of working on houses, they are held in place by a small set screw to a mounting plate that's secured to the wall. So if you're lucky, it's just the set screw that's actually loose. You can tighten it and it all gets secured back up. However, in most cases, it's probably either the mounting plate or something else behind it that you have to resolve. Now, most of the time, those set screws are going to be what we call an inside hex screw, and they require an Allen wrench or a hex wrench to be able to get them loose. If you're not familiar with hex wrenches, you can go check out my other video I posted up here on what they are, how to use them, and different variants. But I've got the correct size. We're going to check and see if this is tight, and if it is, we'll take it off and then evaluate further what's going on behind. So I'm going to place my Allen wrench up into my set screw and I'm going to rotate clockwise, and I can feel that this one is tight. Even with the set screw tight, we can see I still have movement. So I'm going to take my Allen wrench and loosen that set screw out, and I can see it backing out on the bottom. And almost every one of these devices hangs on the mounting plate. So if I tip the bottom out and pull up, it comes off the mounting plate. Here's a quick view of how these normally work. This is the hanger that catches the top of the mounting plate on the wall. This is the bottom, and you can see if I take and rotate, up comes that set screw, and that's what pinches the bracket onto the wall plate. Now in my case, you can see that it appears there's two problems. One, the screws are actually loose, which is causing that mounting bracket to be moving around. And also, if you look behind it, I can see that the expansion anchor that is in the drywall itself appears to actually be moving. First, let's just try tightening the screws and see if we can get this secure enough to make that expanding anchor go back to its shape. These particular screws are made for either a slotted screwdriver or a Phillips. This is a number 2 Phillips. We'll talk about screws and screwdrivers in another video. My favorite, most handy tool, my ratcheting screwdriver. Let's place that in there, and let's see if we can tighten this up and solve our problem. Now with drywall anchors, you want to be careful not to over tighten them because they're only plastic and they will strip. So in this case, it does appear that just tightening those up did expand that anchor more and did make that secure. That should have resolved our problem. So let's take the towel holder, put it back on. Always make sure you get that top secured first. Actually wiggle it around a little bit. Let's take our set screw and tighten that back up. Again, you don't want to over tighten this. You just want it snug. And now we've got no more wiggle. With all the movement these types of devices take, it's super normal for this stuff to come loose. So it is a normal household maintenance piece that you're going to have to deal with. Now before we go deal with the number 2 problem, any of the tools that I use in my videos, I always throw Amazon links in the description to anything I can, just in case you want to see what it is that I'm using in my own home. Now this second example in my house is a little different than the first. It does still have a set screw on the bottom, but the way that this is attached to the mounting plate is just a little bit different. That's causing this to be loose on the end and also causing this barrel in the middle to spin. While most holders use an Allen or hex screw for setting it, this particular one's actually a little flathead screw. So I went down and grabbed my 4-in-1 precision screwdriver. So we're just gonna rotate and loosen up that set screw until it falls off. With this one, I knew it was not likely going to be the mounting flange because when I mounted this, I actually went into a stud. I didn't use drywall anchors. Where our problem is with this style, where it's offset from the wall quite a significant distance, there's going to be a screw or a bolt that's down inside of there that's grabbing a hold of this end, and that's what's making this loose. Here you can see the 4 pieces, the actual towel holder mount itself, the little decorative ring, the back ring, and then there's my screw. So how this works is when you tighten that screw, what you're doing is actually tightening this piece. So that decorative ring may still spin, but it's all about are these 2 pieces secured together. This type of towel holder coming loose is very common. So when we put this back together, what we're going to do is put just a little bit of thread locker on, which for any mechanic is going to have this lying around. And this is kind of like glue for threads. Let's take and put just a little bit of our thread locker on there. Slip our decorative ring back over. And now we'll take and rotate that towel holder until we can get it secure. And then we'll use our screwdriver to do the final tightening. We do need to make sure that the set screw on our backing plate is facing down, and also that it matches the set screw on the actual towel arm here. So I need to rotate to be able to get this rotated to the position I want. Now that those two are aligned, I'll tighten that screw down and secure it all the way. So there we've got the screw secured. Our set screws are aligned. The decorative plate is actually held tight. We've got that thread locker in there that's going to dry. So now when we mount this back on, we're not going to have wiggle in the rear. As long as we've got this off, we need to make sure and check our set screw. Before we check it, let's actually back it all the way out so you can see how does this actually secure. So that set screw is just in between these two shouldered pieces. So it's not meant to be secured all the way down tight. That's what's going to allow this to rotate in that space. And these little O-rings are just going to keep it from flopping around loosely. You can also see on that set screw there's a little bit of blue. That is a patch lock or an original thread locker that was on there to keep this in its position. It had certainly loosened up over time, so I'm going to take and put an extra drop of thread locker on that to make sure that it stays secured for the future. Rotate that back in. I don't want to set that screw all the way down to the point where I can't rotate the bar anymore, because that's the purpose, is the bar is supposed to rotate. That thread locker is going to hold that in position so that it's not touching the arm, but the set screw is in between those two shoulders so that it can't slide out. Don't forget to tighten your set screw on the bottom of the actual mounting plate so that it stays secured. You can put a little drop of Loctite on there as well. I prefer not to with those because if I need to take it back out, I don't want it to be so tight that I have trouble backing it out and then I strip the top of the screw off and then you're in a whole other world of hurt. So just snug will keep that in good shape. Lastly, before we wrap up, if you have a multi-mount towel bar like this one, all the same things we just went through are going to apply. There are going to be set screws on the bottom of each of the mounting plates. And the way this works is the bar itself is free floating in between these two mounting plates. So you need to loosen up both of the mounting plates to be able to rotate that up and off. Make sure that the actual wall mounts are secured. Make sure that the screw that's within these lengthened stretch outs are secure, just like we showed on the toilet paper holder. I hope that answers your questions and the mystery about why are these towel holders loose and how you can resolve the problem. Again, any of the tools I was using, I'll throw links down in the description below in case you want to check them out. Also, this is a small channel that I do completely by myself, so if you hit the like button, subscribe, that really does make a difference for me in helping this get discovered. Pass it along to a friend who might enjoy it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Come back on the next one. Stay curious, friends.